Now, the point to consider over here also, the point to bring our attention towards now, is Surah Tawbah in the Holy Quran. Now, Surah Tawbah is considered to be a very strict surah, an aggressive surah. It was revealed to give an ultimatum to the mushriks of Makkah who broke their treaty with the Muslims of Makkah. It was a warning to them to mend their ways, otherwise there is a declaration of war on them within 4 months. This is the only surah in the Holy Quran that starts without Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. It is the only surah that starts without Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. It goes straight to the point. No time for salam dua. Straight to the point. Though there have been many explanations given with regards to why this surah does not have Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim at the beginning, Dr. Zakir Naik explains it in this way. He gives us an example. He says, imagine if you are walking the street with your mother or your sister or your wife, and a man comes and he snatches her handbag and runs away. And you scream and shout for him to stop. He doesn't stop. He keeps running. And you chase him and you catch him. And then once you've caught him, you will not say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother, please give me back the bag. No. You will go straight to the point. Give me back the bag. Give me back the bag immediately. You will go straight to the point. You don't have time to beat around the bush. So in this way, Surah Tawbah goes straight to the point. And everything that is mentioned in this surah is said firmly and is to be taken very seriously. It was revealed as an ultimatum to the mushriks that mend your ways. Wallahi, mend your ways, or there is a painful retribution. As a warning. It mentions in Surah Tawbah, chapter 9, verse 55, do not be impressed by their money or their children. God causes these to be sources of retribution, sources of punishment for them in this life, and when they die, their souls depart while they are still disbelievers. So Allah Ta'ala tells us that yes, there are people around you who have wealth, who have children, who they are very proud of. Do not be impressed or dazzled by them, because these very things will be the source of punishment for them in the future. And their souls will leave their bodies in a state of being disbelievers. What more of a punishment could they want? These are the sins that fall under the category of the traps of shaitan or Satan, when he promised Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he would mislead us and beautify the sins of this world for us. As it was mentioned in Surah Al-Hijr, chapter 15, verse 39, that Satan said, my Lord, since you have willed that I go astray, I will surely entice them as in mankind, on earth, and I will send them all astray. So Satan has promised to beautify all of these things for us and send us astray on a path that does not go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, on a path which goes somewhere else. Consume, consume, consume. Seek happiness through this route. Sheikh Siraj Wahaj, he said something very meaningful and something really beautiful. He said that no person wants to do evil. No person wakes up in the morning saying, I want to do evil today. I am going to be evil this morning. They only do it because they mistake it for happiness. We mistake evil for happiness. We think this is happiness. I am going to chase this path. I am going to go on this path. Yet we do not realize that this is a path that shaitan has beautified for us. In fact, it is an evil path. And without realizing, we are doing evil. It mentions in Surah Al-Imran, chapter 3, verse 14, beautified for people is the love of that which they desire, of women and sons, heaped up sums of gold and silver, fine branded horses, and wealth from cattle and well-tilled land. That is the enjoyment of this worldly life, but Allah has with Him the best return. So no matter what you see in this world, no matter what has been beautified for you, know this, that with Allah is something far greater than this, the effects of which are not for a day or a month or a year or even a decade. The effects of that is eternal. The reward that Allah Ta'ala has is eternal. Permanent effect. Not something that is here now and gone tomorrow. Nothing like that. There is a hadith of the Holy Prophet regarding the trials and the tests that we go through in this life. We experience sometimes certain difficulties and we say, why is this happening to me? But there is a hadith of the Holy Prophet mentioned in both Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim, where the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever Allah wants to reward, He puts them to test. He puts them through difficulties. Like a metal or gold that has to be heated or melted, and then that which is impure from it is removed, so that you are left with only that which is pure. So don't lose hope in times of difficulty. Perhaps it is Allah's way of giving you a greater reward. Everyone is good when times are good. If things are happening your way, everybody is good. But the real test is when a test comes on you, when a difficulty comes on you, how do you react then? Do you still thank Allah, or do you start to whine and moan and complain and be thankless? This is the test. And there is another hadith of the Holy Prophet where he mentioned that what a beautiful life is the life of a moment, the life of a Muslim. That if he is suffering from bad times, he knows that Allah Ta'ala is testing him to give him a greater reward in hereafter. And if he has good times, obviously he's having good times. So even if you have good times or bad times, in either way, a moment is happy, because the end result of both is happiness. This is the belief. This is how the moment attains true happiness and inner peace. They keep repeating now, there's a famous expression that you've got to have an attitude for gratitude. An important part of obtaining happiness is to always be thankful for everything. There are so many things around us, if we were just to look and observe and consider. From our body, our hands, our eyes, our nose, our ears, our mouth, the abilities we have, the intellect that Allah Ta'ala has given us, our children, our jobs, our money, our life, whatever we have, the food that we eat, the blessings that are around us, even the sun, the moon, the stars, even the beautiful scenery that you enjoy every day, even the air that you breathe, even the bacteria that are working inside your body. Every single thing around you, you've got to be thankful for it. You've got to have an attitude for gratitude. Be thankful for everything. We often get into a habit of complaining and whining about things. But the truth is that whining will get us nothing. The situation will not change. You can sit and whine and moan all you want, the situation will remain what it is. If you are thankful, if you forget that whiny part and think of the things that you are blessed with, you will attain happiness. Realizing how fortunate you are to have the countless blessings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't look at those who are more well off than you. Look at those, the poor ones who are suffering, who are deprived of the basic necessities that you enjoy every single day. And then see if you are thankful. Would you rather swap your place with them? These are the things that we must ask ourselves every time we start to become thankless for anything.